Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phoebe. This is Moonshine Stitchery, and this is a channel about cross stitch, needle crafting. I do have a new needle crafting, if you will, project to share with you that is not cross stitch today. I have had the most fun last 2 stitchy weeks. I took a trip to go visit my friend Heidi from Whips and Kits. We went to Country Sampler, we went to Linz of Madison, we went to Witchery Stitchery. We spent a week stitching and laughing and visiting different places in Wisconsin. She lives down kind of south of Madison in Wisconsin, and it was just gorgeous. She lives out in the country, and it was so green and beautiful and wonderful. So I have a big finish. Well, it's big for me because I've been working on it for a full year. My birthday finish is all done, so I have that to share with you today. I have a couple of new starts, including this new project. I started needlepoint thanks to Mary Ellen at the Witchery Stitchery for explaining it to me. So I have that new project to share with you and a new start that Heidi and I started at her house to mark our super fun week together. I also have a little dyeing video for you. When I was at Heidi's, we dyed a bunch of fabric and I filmed it, and I know that some of you have been asking me lately how I hand dye my fabric, so I have that to share with you as well. And I have some haul from the different shops that I visited, and then my whips, and then we'll talk about plans, and then books at the very end. So that's kind of how we're gonna move through this video. And today happens to be Father's Day. If you hear giggling and screaming in the background, my kids and their dad are having a tickle fight, apparently, currently. My kids made him BLTs today for Father's Day, and so the house smells like bacon, just like he likes it. And he's going to play his video games and hopefully chill out and appreciate being served today. So we don't actually have any other plans of what to serve him, but we'll see. We'll see what we come up with. So this is Vintage Stitches from Jeannette Douglas. And of course I still need to take that off, but all of the stitching is done. So this was my 2023 birthday start in last August. And in my last video I was expressing how I wasn't sure I was gonna get it done because I took May off, and was I gonna have time to do it all? Well, this month on the 7th, I just finished it all up. So I think I stitched on the 7th, 8th, and 9th and just got it all done. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I've done 2 now from her in this series. And while I was at Witchery Stitchery, I picked up another one that I'm planning to start this August. So this has a lot of specialty stitches. I'm just gonna kind of come in here and show you some of these stitches. And she is so great about telling you exactly how to do everything that she's got planned on the stitch. So all of that in the middle is over 1, and then we've got specialty stitches there, and a bunch of places. That bottom border was really cool. So this I feel is like browner looking than the image on the cover photo, because I think that the flosses have changed a bit since this came out, and so it didn't kind of turn out as rainbowy vibrant as I would have preferred, but that's okay. I still really like it and enjoyed every second of stitching on it. So this is just stitched on a piece of 28 Lugana that I over dyed, and my last one I did on a smaller count, I feel like, bee stitches, and I made that into a pillow. I might frame this one, so we'll see. I don't know yet. I have a lot of framing that I need to do, or a lot of finishing, so one of these days I'll have a whole bunch of fully finishes to share with you. So next I'm going to talk about my 2 new starts. So this first project is my new needlepoint project. So trying needlepoint for the first time in my life, and I just fell in love with that design when I was at Witchery Stitchery. This is Lavender Fields by Laura J. Perin, and it's the Impressionist collection. So this, again, she gives you step-by-step instructions of what she says you should do. So the instructions say, put in this Rhodes star, and then you're gonna put in all of this dark green bordering. So that's what I started doing. So this was just a day at Heidi's house because we watched all of Bridgerton, we watched a bunch of fun shows. So there's my Rhodes Star, and then it's just a lot of continental stitches to make up these bordering. And then I've got all of these away knots on here because that's how she taught me at the store to start my threads. So I'm very excited. This is super fun. This is an 18 count piece of canvas, and these are on stretcher bars that she helped me figure out how to do. It made it much less daunting to start this new craft because she was there to like show me how to do everything. So she hooked me up with all the flosses. They are super beautiful, and I'm very, very excited. So if you like needlepoint too, let me know in the comments. If you really enjoy specialty stitches and enjoy the more geometric lines of like a Carolyn Manning, then you might really, really love something like this. So all the projects I'm talking about will be in the description bar below if you want to go reference them. So I think right now between my new starts, let's go ahead and share that dyeing video before I forget to pop it in here. So pretty much everything you see me stitching on that wasn't a start like early in 2022 is mostly it's on fabric that I've dyed myself. And I watched a Mama Loves You GB video a long time ago. I saw how she was doing it and just kind of tweaked her process for, you know, what works for me. So Heidi and I dyed a lot of fabric. We dyed fat halves and fat quarters, and I filmed some of it, and I'm gonna share that with you now. So I'm just gonna walk you through how I dye fabric at home. Give it a try and let me know how it works for you. So start a pot with water, put salt in it and get it boiling. And then I use these little containers from just the hardware store. And so I filled it up that big with water, that much, because I think this is a 2.5 quart container, because I was dyeing a whole fat half. So what I'm doing here is I'm just testing different strengths of, I think it's cocoa brown, and it was turning out too red, so I added some of this apple green, and I kept adding it till I had this color, and then that was where I liked it. I don't actually usually use tissue paper to test the color, but it's what was sitting right there. Then you want to take your fabric. This is a fat half of Cafe au lait. You get it completely wet, and then you scrunch it. And then you're just going to completely submerge it in your fabric. Now, of course, if you didn't completely submerge it, you'd have portions of your fabric that didn't get dyed at all, and that would give you a completely different look. As you scrunch your fabric, the part that's scrunched tighter is not going to get dyed. And I'm going to show you how it looks when you pull it out. So here I am, just pushing it back in there. Just basically what I'd done right before that was I'd pulled it out, and then I'd rinsed it out like I'm doing in this process again. You want to rinse it with cold water, and then you're going to either change the color, like add more colorant to your bucket, or just scrunch it up in the exact same formula and put it back in the water, which is what I'm going to do because I want to get it more covered. I don't want there to be so many big pieces that don't have color. Here's another strength of dye that we were dyeing something lighter just to show you that you don't have to go super strong. Then, now of course this is a different color, but after you're done, you want to rinse it out completely and then spread it out. You can either let it dry or you can like scrunch it dry with your hands, and then using no steam, you just totally iron it dry and flat and iron out all the wrinkles. Here's another color we did. I think this is the one that was the lighter in the bucket that I just showed you. And then I'm going to show you the big fat half of the darker brown. Here's how it looked after I did that process 3 to 4 times over and over. So you're layering that pigment on top of each other. And then in the end, here's all the different colors that we did that day. I think we dyed like 8 or 9 pieces. And so if you don't want heavy modeling, of course what you're going to do is not as strong amount of the RIT dye in the water, so make the dye to water ratio higher on the water side, and then you're just going to do the process over and over till you get the desired look. So speaking of hand-dyed fabric, this next one is one that I dyed at Heidi's house. This was our start to commemorate this trip. So we started the Stitching Parlor, Mr. Collins' Humble Abode. We are starting that one together. And I kitted it up when I was at Lynn's of Madison with these flosses. I decided to change Blooming Crocus to this really beautiful water lilies. This is called Hyacinth. And then I changed, it calls for all Crescent Colorworks, and I changed to, I have some of the Crescent Colorworks that are called for, and then I pulled some Gentle Arts that I really liked for the project. So for one thing, like the mac and cheese that's called for, I'm doing this color instead. It just felt like something I would enjoy stitching with more. And then for the straw in the border, you have a lot of that purple and then gold, and I'm doing this color instead, which is, it has some variegation in there, and it has some gold, light tan, and a little bit of sunset, or like very light sunset orange. So those are my flosses, and the rest of the things I will probably just kit up from stash, but I wanted to get some of it in and started while I was at Heidi's. Oh, and I didn't realize I had a needle in here. So this is my start, and this is one of the pieces that we dyed at Heidi's house. And so here we are. It's a super beautiful border. That's steamed broccoli for the darker green, and then this one over here is Evie's Leaves from Classic Colorworks. And then I told you about the other flosses that I put in there so far. So really, really loving it. Heidi and I both love Pride and Prejudice and love that whole series. So we planned this start for this trip to commemorate. So that's my other new start. Now we're going to be into whips. So I'm going to share with you my 2 strands a day project, which is Halloween This Way from the Primitive Hare. And last time you saw it, I hadn't finished this signpost that says Halloween Town, so I got that finished up. And then I plotted out this bottom signpost, which is going to say Dead End. You can see I've put in the word dead. I need to put in the word end, and there's just going to be a ton of filling in that black. So, yeah, we are getting close. We are getting super, super close. So I stitch on this 2 strands every day. And sometimes when I forget, or I don't have time, or I'm super excited to stitch on something else, I'll just make up the day the next day or whatever and stitch 4 strands. But this is how this one's getting done, and after I'm done with this, I'll move on to my next oldest project. And this is stitched on 30 count big spell linen from the Primitive Hare using all the called for flosses, 2/2. I have a lot of dangling threads, so I apologize for that, and I'm all crinkly because I don't think I put this away very nicely. But I'm just going to start pulling whips, things that I worked on the last 2 weeks. This is Pretty Little London from Satsuma Street, and I worked on this on the 10th. I do this the 10th of every month. This is on a piece of, I think, 16 or 18 count. It's just a fabric that you can buy at Hobby Lobby. So I liked it for its gray for the back of London. So I was working on that Ferris wheel mostly. Is it the eye? Is that what it's called? And then putting in a few other colors. So there's my progress on that. That's just using all the called for DMC with 2/1. So one of the days I stitched on this, I'm not sure which day. This is Jack's Bash by Plum Street Sampler. And I think I was doing this down here. Yeah. Oh, that house looks so cute. So I finished, I think I put in October, and it's over 1 down there. And then, yeah, I moved down. I did the satin stitches. I don't remember if I did that last time or the time before. And then I moved down into this rectangle and put in the lady and the house and the tree and starting to fill out that row. So I just love this one. This is my own conversion of threads. If it looks different to you, that's why. And this is on another piece that I hand dyed. It looks like this. And as you saw from my video, hand dyeing is not difficult, and it feels very fulfilling to stitch on something that you colored for your own project, and it is also saves money. So, but I do it because I really like it. I like stitching on stuff that I've dyed. So those are not the called for flosses, but it is 40 count, 1/2 on 40 count. I'm still a little jet lagged from my trip. Not that it's like major, it was an hour difference, but the night that I came home, my flight wasn't until wasn't until 8:25, and then they delayed it a whole hour, so I didn't get home till Wisconsin time, like 2:30 in the morning. So, okay, this is my next whip. I rolled this, I think, with you guys last time that I was gonna stitch on this. This was a random roll. This is Be Stitch Me, I think it's Whimsical. And this is the Cold Sea sampler from Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm stitching it 1/2 with Weeks Mascara. And I didn't realize that this was kind of small, so that's nice. I started this for Black Sampler November a couple falls ago. And so this is the width of it. So I pulled it out to the edge and then brought it down. And I don't think I did any of the inside part, but maybe this is new. So what a great piece of fabric for something like this. So I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I really love working on things with sharp lines and contrast. It's really fun. So that's my Cold Sea sampler. So next, like I said, I'm just pulling them from my whip basket willy-nilly. Next, this is the project I stitched on the 4th of June. And this is Artful Offerings Americana Sailboat. I saw this all finished up at Country Sampler. I think she made a pillow out of it. It was so beautiful. This is a piece that I overdyed. It's a very light olive green. And I'm stitching this not with the called for flosses, just pulled from stash again. So I think this time I finished up the eagle, and then with the white I just started coming down into this stripe here. This is kind of a monotonous stitch, I have to say, if you're thinking about starting this one. The effect of it's going to be super great and I'm going to love it, but as you're working through that giant sail, it's kind of monotonous, so just a heads up on that one. But I really love it. It's 40 count, 1/2, and I stitch on this every 4th of the month. Next up, I stitched on this on the 13th. And this is my Halloween Quaker from Lila Studio, and I'm really getting a good amount done. So I'm pulling around, that's the bottom of it. It's not going to be any taller than that. So this time I finished up that tree in the bottom, and then I put in the whole house and then was working on that tree to the left. And I love this part of the pattern. It's so cute. So in there under the witch, it's going to say like Happy Halloween, and then there's a little bit more, but I'm closing in, and I love pulling this out every time. So I'm using the call for flosses on this. This is 28 count Cauldron Lugana from Picture This Plus. And call for flosses, I'm using 2 strands over 2. It's gonna be huge because I chose this fabric, but this was back in the day. So I do have the summer Quaker started, and I'm doing it on 40 count, and it's small and cute. I need to get that out this week. But yes, I love it. I think that one was my other one that I randomly rolled with you guys last time to stitch on at some point in the next 2 weeks. And we're going to do that at the end of the video. Next up I have the Biedermeier sampler from GGR. Just love me some GGR. This is stitched on plain 40 count cream by Zweigart. And actually the tag says 46 count. And because it's not overdyed, it just feels like I'm using 40 count to me. At least that's what I tell my brain as I'm going, because I'm like, wow, this doesn't feel that difficult. So what did I do? I pulled this alphabet over, pulled this over quite a bit. I think I filled this in a little bit more, and then I started that alphabet down there. I just adore this project. I absolutely adore it. I'm using none of the called for flosses. I just kitted it up from stash using the DMCs, and I really super love it. It is so fun, and I do love stitching alphabets. So that's GGR, the Biedermeier sampler, 46 count, 1/2. Love it. That's one of the ones I took with me to Heidi's house, so I stitched on that one of the days while we were just watching movies and just vegging out. I think just 2 more. So this I was stitching, not yesterday, Friday. Oopsie, needle. At the airport and on the flight home. This is a Peacock Unicorn Badger from Scarlett Letter. So here's mine. I don't have a massive amount of progress, excuse me. I don't have a massive amount of project. So I filled in this leaf here. I put in some of this, and then I did this completely. Sorry, not completely. There's stuff missing, but everything in this flower blossom is new. So I just love it. It's so different from everything else I'm stitching. I did dye this fabric specifically for it, so I wouldn't need to do any of the background. Oh, you gotta go see Kim's. I'm sure you've seen Kim, Continue Needleworker Kim. She's stitching it on this beautiful gray. Oh, it's so divine. I just love seeing everybody's choices for their colors, and all of their work is so inspiring. So I took this with me to Heidi's and did get a little bit of work done on it, and I just love it. I'm using the Call for DMCs. It's a 40 count, so it's 1 strand over 2 on Peacock Unicorn Badger. Okay, my final whip, dangling thread. I think every night when Heidi and I were stitching, I was just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed now. And then I would just put it up and not finish my strand because we were staying up late. Yeah, we were just partying too hard. Okay, so here's another piece that I dyed for this project. This is Coquelicots from Reflets. So it's a very light steel gray blue, and I'm using the Called For Soie. This is the project that we started together when we were in Paris, and this time I filled in a little bit more of stuff that's going on up here, but then I came down and I wanted to put in that dark blue. I wanted to see how that was going to look in the fabric. It's more like a dark indigo. So this flower is the one I was working on. And I just love it. I love working with the Soie. The colors are just so intense and beautiful together. And Reflets Soie is so fun. So really, really loving this. And I love that Heidi and I started in different spots so we can see different progress being had on our 2 different whips. So 40 count, 1 over 2, Called For silks. So that is all of the stitching. Next I'm going to talk about acquisitions, and then we'll do plans, and then we'll do book chat. So firstly, this is a gift from Heidi. She had purchased a bunch of fabric at the Shakespeare's Peddler $5 sale, and she gave me half of all of that fabric that she got there. So let me pull out. This one is one of my favorites. Just this beautiful for finishing some Christmas projects. So super, super nice. That's a Moda fabric. I think a bunch of those are. When I was at Lynn's, I got a full yard of 40 count Cafe au lait. And then that piece that I already showed you for Mr. Cullen's Abode came from it. And then from that same fabric, also this, I need to, Heidi cut these and serged them for me, but I need to clip all those. So here's another color that I dyed while I was at Heidi's house. Obsessed. And then this one, this is a big fat half, and I dyed this one for my back to school sale started by Lauren from the New Hampshire Stitcher. And I wanted to make a yummy, deeper fabric for my new start for back to school sale. It's huge. And I'm gonna put that on the screen so you can see what it is. And I'm gonna kit it up from Stash. And I'm very, very excited about it. I had a little difficulty deciding between that one and another one pattern that I picked up at Country Sampler, and I'll show you in just a minute, but I'm gonna do it on this darker piece. So this is 40 count. And I believe this is one of the ones that I showed in the video kind of start to finish. So yeah, that's this color. And then while I was at Lynn's, Lynn's does have some lakeside there occasionally. And so I picked up a piece of vintage sand dune. And as you know, I do like dyeing my own fabric, so I don't usually need to pick up a specific color or anything. But since I was there, I decided to grab a piece of lakeside, And I don't know if this is showing well, but it's a very yellowy. It's a very yellow-green. It looks like it's just showing more tan. And that's the thing, like, oh, when I was at Heidi's house, I just went through all of her kits and all of her fabric, and it was so nice because people can show stuff on Flosstube, but you can't really see the depth of the dyes that the makers are dyeing. So anyway, no, I don't think I'm gonna put my birthday start on this. I don't think it'll look that awesome with this color scheme. But I'm gonna put something on it. So my birthday start is nautical colors. So I don't think that's the right thing. But anyway, that's 40. Is it 40 count? No, this is 32 count. Let's see. Yeah, this is 32 count. So it won't be anything samplery. We'll put something else on there. If you want to see more of what Heidi and I were doing on my nail polish channel, which is called Phoebe Moon, I also have family vlogs on there, and I vlogged a bunch of the trip too if you want to watch that. Okay, so next is going to be charts. So these are things that I picked up at Lynn's, Country Sampler, and at Witchery Stitchery. So I got this one. Lynn's has a 50% off bin, and then if you buy 3, you get a 4th one free. So I got Yuletide Shanty. It's so cute. From Plum Street. This is the Jeannette Douglas I picked out for this year's birthday start. And she just, like, she has the whole thing mapped out, how you're supposed to do it. I just find it so helpful and so enjoyable. And see this color scheme, I think it does need, like, not that yellowy color for it. I don't know that I need to do it on white, but you know what I mean. So very excited. That one's called Seaside Stitches, and she at Witchery Stitchery, she had a bunch of that series. I think at this point I've picked up the cutest ones, but okay, this was also at Lynn's. This Hands Across the Sea. It's full of specialty stitches. I think I'll probably change that alphabet and not do like a rainbow, a color for every one. I'll probably do like a color each line or something. It's just too hectic looking. But look at all these specialty stitches. I love it. Love. So I'm very excited about that. Country Sampler. I picked up this Scattered Seed Sampler. That would be cute on the vintage sand dune. I just think it's so cute. And I haven't started a Scattered Seed Samplers yet. It says Shelter from the Storm. At Lynn's, I believe. This one from Heartstring Samplery. And this one is called Be Kind Always. There we go. Really pretty. And then at Country Sampler, I picked up this GGR. It's so pretty. This is number 3. It's called Heritage du Passé. I don't know. But they had peacocks and unicorns, I think, and deer. And I wanted the deer. It reminds me of my dad. My dad and my grandpa. So I love that. And at Lynn's, this Kathy Barrick Autumn Harvest was on 50% off. Isn't that pretty? This would go so nicely next to my Autumn on Lazy Bear. This is from Country Sampler. I don't think I got any sale patterns at Country Sampler. English Garden from Samplers Not Forgotten. Again, can you tell? I want to do all the specialty stitches. She had a big model of this up on the wall, and it was absolutely stunning. The colors are a little brownish. I don't know. I might tweak that color palette just a little bit. So pretty. I'm excited to start that. And one of my favorite things I picked up, I've been meaning to get this for a while. So this is the Wishing Thorn Anne McFarlane Sampler, 1827 by Brigitte. And I opened this, now that I could see this in person rather than looking online, I opened it to make sure that I could manage this, all these cool borders on here. And it's charted so nicely, and it's not just like a ton of little over one stitches down there. The chart kind of freaked me out. This is over one, so I don't know, if I don't really want to do that much over one, I might just put another motif in there or something. So, but it's just such a cool one. I love it so much. Monochromatic sampler. So I'm really excited about that one. Some other acquisitions I got were, we went to the place where they make the Kringles in Racine, Wisconsin, that you can get at Trader Joe's, and we got to choose from their 1 trillion flavors. I got that. I picked up 2 flavors. I got the Wisconsin, which is cherries, cranberries, and cheese, and we got the pecan. That was fun. This was on the way to the airport. And then we also went to the Mars Cheese Castle, and I got a ton of cheese for Father's Day, and Tim loved it. So yes, acquisitions were a great time. So next is plans. So I always have projects that I stitch on certain days. So today, this is going to go up on the 17th-ish. So between now and the 1st of July, I will stitch on Honor's birthday project, which is Fractal Flowers, on the 21st by Kathy Barrick. And then on the 30th, I will stitch on Joy's birthday project, which looks like this. And then on the 25th, I'll stitch on something Christmassy. Not sure what yet. Those are the only 3 things that I'm like definitely gonna stitch on in that time period. So I have a lot of things that I can just pull randomly from my lists or from my apps, but I'm gonna choose 2 of them with you right now. So this list is my Mania 2024. And then I plug in on my random generator 1 through 24. And then we're going to pick a project. So 22. So that is a year of celebrations, which you guys have seen for a while. It looks like this. So I will finish up May. And yeah, that's probably all I'll end up getting done on that one. But I'll finish up that May block. So I'll do that. Maybe I'll finish that up and then start June. I like to stitch on those on the month that I'm in, but I didn't quite get May done last time. So you'll definitely see work on that. And then I use another app, which is the Tiny Decisions app. And I have all my whips in this wheel, and then I click it and it tells me what I should stitch on. So the Cold Sea Sampler. Okay, so we're gonna get more work done on the Cold Sea Sampler. And I have it set to like mark off stuff so it doesn't get picked again. But did I pick that last time? Anyway, I'm excited to work on that again because it's really fun and lovely. So those 2 things you'll definitely also see in the next video. Besides that, we'll just have to wait and see where my mood goes. So we've talked about everything stitchy related. Now I'm going to share with you about some books. If you are totally not interested, I understand, and I will see you back in 2 weeks for the next one. So I do listen to Audible audiobooks a lot when I'm working. I own a nail polish company, and so I'm packing orders, making polish, you know, doing all the office stuff with it. I like to have a book on while I'm working. I don't work with any coworkers, so I don't need to be free to talk to anybody. I'm also a stay-at-home mom, and that job makes it so that I can be available to my son, who has autism and has a lot of needs. And it's a good one for me to be able to stay home and be able to get out and go get him or help him whenever he needs anything. So anyway, in the last 2 weeks, I read some great books. Okay, so I finished The Body Reader, which I talked a little bit about last time, and it was good. Some of the stuff kind of wrapped up quickly at the end, but I did like it, and I think I will read the next one. This is by Anne Fraser. When it, like, if I catch it on a little bit of a sale. Audible did just have a nice sale, so I picked up a bunch of things. I'll show you those too. So basically that one's about a cop. She's been held in captivity for years, and she escapes due to a power outage, and her captivity makes it so she can kind of read people better than another person might be able to. So if you like cop, murder mystery, corruption, intrigue, that's what that one's about. I read Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is super cute, just cozy romance book. It's about it's actually an autistic man that owns a bed and breakfast, highly functioning, and he's really learned to, he's doing his best at discovering how to best maneuver social cues and things like that. And he meets this girl named Eve Brown, and it's just their love story and how they're super cute. So basically, there's not much going on in that book. It's just something cute. Then I read Twisted Love. It was free for Audible Plus, and I had it on my TBR. I guess somebody said, well, this is a really crazy romance and like mob kind of story. I mean, it was fine. At this point, like, I think I've kind of forgotten most of everything that happened in it. So I'm glad that I didn't spend a credit on it or anything. It was fine. So any of these things I'm talking about, if you want to chat about them with me, send me a message. You can DM me. I have 3 Instagram accounts. You can DM me at any of those or comment down below or whatever. I love to talk about books and stitchy stuff, of course. So like the gist of Twisted Love is that there's this girl, I don't even remember her name anymore at this point, and her brother leaves and his best friend is gonna like stand in to like just keep a big brotherly eye on her, but then they end up developing a relationship, and then you find out that he has all of these motivations behind the scenes for some revenge he's getting for a travesty that happened to his family and all this stuff, and oh my gosh, is she going to forgive him? And so it's like that. And it's kind of 50 Shades of Grey vibes because he's like ridiculously wealthy, but it's not so much with the whole like, I'm going to trap you and never, you know, let you do anything by yourself ever. Okay, so then I read Dead Until Dark by Charlaine Harris, and this was another one that was free for Audible Plus this month. So I've read book 1 and 2. Book 2 is Living Dead in Dallas, and if this sounds familiar to you, these are the books that True Blood is based off of, the Sookie Stackhouse books, or show. And the show I thought was like, okay, I think the books are cuter. So it's vampire books, but there's also a lot of other supernatural things in there too. There's shapeshifters and werewolves and other there's a Maenad. Anyway, so I'm reading those. If I lack of stuff to read in June, I'll read some more of those while they're free. So the next book I started, so I have 3 things that I just recently started. I started The Last Widow from Karen Slaughter. It's the next book of the Will Trent series, and it's a book that like takes place in like 2 days time, and you're constantly jumping back and forth between different characters. There's like 6 main characters that you're getting their viewpoint, and they're going to be like, okay, and I'm going to tell you what's happening for these 4 hours from this person's, and then we're going to go back to that exact time and tell you from how this person's point of view, and then we're going to go back and do it from Will's point of view, and then back and do it from Amanda's point of view. So honestly, that kind of storytelling is a little bit tedious, but it's interesting, it's different, and I love all the Will Trent books. I just actually recently figured out that Sarah Lipton from those books, she's a feature character from one of her other series. So that's fun. They're not on sale right now, or I'd go read one of them and see if I like it. Okay, the other 2 that I started The Library at Mount Char. This was highly recommended from someone on Book Talk or something, and it starts out very strange. So I don't know if I'm super intrigued to keep going, but book 1 is like bananas because they're talking about all these people that they're not really humans as we think of humans, and that there's some mystical thing going on, and it's all very just like, huh? And then chapter 2 starts, and you're getting somebody else's point of view, and it feels like it's gone back in time, but it's all very confusing. But that person is now having dealings with one of the people that you read about in chapter 1. So it's like tying in, but it's very confusing. So if you read this book and you think I should keep going, let me know, please. And the third thing that I recently started with my brother Oliver, we're reading The Last Graduate, which is the second book. I read, what's it called? A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. And that's about college students, and they live in a scholomance, and they're going to school. It's like a wizarding school, but there's no teachers. The school decides for you what you're learning, and they give you assignments and spell books, and it's a really different, interesting dynamic. And there's dangerous creatures living in the scholomance that can just kill you all the time. And there's some politics that are coming out that we're going to figure out how the main character is going to deal with that. But this is the one where the main character, you're not sure, she's not sure if she's gonna like destroy the world or save the world kind of vibe. So it's fun. So I started the second one of that. And if you want to see the books that I recently got on that Audible sale, I got, these were all things that were at a pretty good discount right now. So I have The House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. The sale might be over. I got Bride from Ali Hazelwood. After That Night, that's the next Karen Slaughter book. The Teacher, this is by the girl who wrote The Housemaid. That was pretty good, so I'm going to try that out. Frida McFadden. Legends and Lattes I got on sale. Girl Forgotten, another Karen Slaughter book. Project Hail Mary was on sale. Yay. No Exits on sale. Stillhouse Lake. And then that takes me up to where I was. So yeah, it was a pretty good dealio. So I've got lots and lots to read. So that is gonna round out everything that I want to chat about for this video. So I hope you had some fun hanging out with me. Hope you were stitching on something that brought you a lot of joy. And let me know. Let me know down in the comments what you've been stitching on, what you've been enjoying. Have you tried needlepoint? Have you read any of these books I'm reading? Do you do a birthday start every year? What are you going to start on your birthday start? And do you know what your back to school sale is going to be? Talk to me. Talk to me down in the comments below. I'm so glad that you could be here today. I always forget to remind you guys at the beginning of the video, but if you want to subscribe to the channel so that you're notified whenever I put out a new video, so you can follow along with my whips. And if you want to like the video, it helps the channel out. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for coming by, spending a little time with me. I will see you back in the next one in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.